Two lines that have slopes that are negative reciprocals are called perpendicular lines, and they will cross at a right angle. So let's say you have line number 1 and line number 2. They cross to form 4 right angles. So these are each 90 degrees. And if their slopes are negative reciprocals, that means when you multiply them times each other, you'll get a product of -1. So let's say this slope was -1/2. To find the negative reciprocal, you multiply it by -1, so the negative becomes positive. And the reciprocal means that you switch the denominator with the numerator. So instead of 1/2, you'll get 2/1, which is 2. So we get +2 instead of -1/2. And if you multiply these times each other, you'll get -1. So this is also what it looks like. One of the slopes is equal to -1 divided by the other slope. And the other slope is equal to -1 divided by the other slope. -1 divided by -1/2. If you are dividing the numerator by a fraction, it's the same as multiplying the numerator by the reciprocal. So -1, if you switch the 2 and the 1, you get -2 instead of -1/2. So -1 divided by -1/2 is the same as -1 times -2. So that will give you -2 times -1, which is 2. Same thing the other way. If you had -1 divided by one of the slopes, you get -1/2. And that would be equal to this -1/2. So that is the relationship between two perpendicular lines and their slopes. And if you multiply those two slopes, 2 times -1/2, again, you'll get -1 as a product. Let's have you walk through one of these questions from start to finish. What is the equation of the line that passes through the point 0, 3 and is perpendicular to 2y plus x is equal to 2? So this is similar to our parallel lines. We're given a perpendicular line in standard form. So we'll want to change this to slope-intercept form so that we can figure out what the slope is. That will help us figure out the slope of the line we're looking for. And we can use this point. We then use that slope and this point in the point-slope form to figure out the equation of this line that we're looking for. So the first thing, we want to take the standard form and change it to slope-intercept form. So step 1, subtract x from both sides. That gives us 2y is equal to -x plus 2. To get rid of this coefficient of 2, step 2 is divide both sides by 2. So the equation of the perpendicular line that we are provided with is y is equal to -x/2 plus 1. And this is significant because this allows us to figure out the slope of that perpendicular line, which is the coefficient of the x, which is -1. 1 times x is the same as x. So although we don't see the 1 is there. So the coefficient is -1/2. And we can use this slope to then figure out the slope of the perpendicular line that we are looking for. So step 3, to figure out that slope, we want to divide -1 by m1 by -1/2. So when we divide -1 by -1/2, negative divided by negative is positive. And when you're dividing by a fraction, it is the same as multiplying this numerator by the reciprocal. So instead of 1/2, this is the same as 2/1. 1 times 2 would give us 2. So the slope of the line that we are looking for is 2. And we are given the point on that line, which is 0, 3. So we combine the slope with the point given in point-slope form. And now we can figure out the equation of the line that we are looking for. So step 4, replace x1 with 0 and replace y1 with 3. Then step 5, replace m with our slope of 2. Now we have all the information we need for that perpendicular line. So step 6, distribute the 2 to the x and the 0. 2 times 0 is 0, so we won't need to do that. 2 times x is 2x. To isolate y, we want to add 3 to both sides. So we wind up with y is equal to 2x plus 3. Let's now have you try a few practice questions. Question number 1. What is the equation of the line that passes through -4, 1 and is perpendicular to y plus 4x is equal to -1? Question number 2. What is the equation of the line that passes through 6, 8 and is perpendicular to y plus 3x over 2 is equal to 1? Question number 3. What is the equation of the line that passes through -2, 12 and is perpendicular to y minus x over 5 is equal to -3? Pause the video, answer these questions, and then press play when you are ready to begin. Question number 1. The line that is perpendicular to the one we are looking for is given in standard form. So we want to change it to slope-intercept form. So step 1, subtract 4x from both sides. This shows us that the equation of that perpendicular line is y is equal to -4x minus 1. This is significant because that tells us that the slope of that line is -4. So if m1 is equal to -4, to figure out the slope of the perpendicular line, step 2 will be to divide -1 by -4. -1 divided by -4 is equal to 1/4. A negative divided by a negative is positive. 1 over 4 is 1/4, which is the same as 0.25. So we use the fact that we have this slope and a point on that line in the point slope form to figure out the equation of the perpendicular line that we are looking for. So step 3, replace x1 with -4 and y1 with 1. X minus -4 is equivalent to x plus 4, y minus 1. And now step 4, replace m with 0.25. Now we want to distribute this 0.25 to each term. So that's step 5. 0.25 times x is 0.25x. 0.25 times 4 is 1. And now to isolate y, we add 1 to both sides, step 6, leaving us with y is equal to 0.25x plus 2. Or if you want this as a fraction, 0.25 is the same as 1/4. So that would change to x over 4. So we get y is equal to x over 4 plus 2. Let's take a look at question number 2. We want to change it to slope-intercept form. So step 1, subtract 3x over 2 from both sides. This gives you y is equal to -3x over 2 plus 1. So we see that the slope of this first line is -3/2. So we want to divide -1 by -3/2. -1 divided by -3 over 2. You want to multiply the numerator 1 by the reciprocal 2 over 3. So negative divided by a negative is positive. 1 times 2 over 3 would give us 2 over 3. Remember, when you're dividing by a fraction, it's the same as multiplying the numerator by the reciprocal. The reciprocal means that you switch the 2 and the 3. You switch the numerator and the denominator. So 1 times 2 over 3 is 2 over 3. So this is the slope of the line that we are looking for. we combine that with the point on the line 6, 8. So step 3, replace x1 with 6 and replace y1 with 8. In step 4, replace m with 2/3. Now we have the information we need to figure out the equation of the line that we are looking for. So step 5, distribute this 2/3 to each of these terms. 2/3 times x is 2x over 3. 2/3 times -6 is 2 times -6, which is -12 over 3. -12 over 3 is -4. And now step 6, add 8 to both sides to get rid of this -8. That gives you -4 plus 8, which is +4. So the line that is perpendicular is y is equal to 2x over 3 plus 4. And now question number 3. You were given the line y minus x over 5 is equal to -3, which is in standard form. This is the line perpendicular to the one that we want. So we want to switch this to slope-intercept form. So step 1, add x over 5 to both sides. That shows us that the line has an equation of y is equal to x over 5 minus 3. That means the slope of this line is 1 over 5. Step 2, to find the slope of the perpendicular line, the one that we want to divide -1 by m1, which is 1/5. -1 divided by 1/5 is the same as -1 times +5. The reciprocal is 5 over 1. So -1 times 5 is -5. So this is the slope of the line that we want. Plus, we were given the point -2, 12. So step 3, replace x1 with -2 and y1 with 12. X minus -2 becomes x plus 2, y minus 12. And now step 4, replace m with -5. Now we have the information we need to figure out the equation. So we want to distribute this -5 to each of these terms. So -5 times x is -5x. -5 times +2 is -10. So now to isolate this y, we want to add 12 to both sides. -10 plus 12 is +2. So that gives us the final equation of y is equal to -5x plus 2.